favorite mental techniques. One of the most fascinating and extremely rewarding benefits that quantum physics has brought us is to force us to recognize the attention that emerging phenomena deserve because of the immense influence they exert on our lives. We constantly interact with a whole host of subconsciously emergent phenomena, that is, without realizing it, and that is why we do not notice how they come to control us. Our emotions, our feelings, and our thoughts are emergent phenomena par excellence. We are continually creating them out of thin air, and in a matter of seconds they take on monumental importance in our decisions, behaviors, and relationships. Since most of these processes are developed by our subconscious mind, they end up controlling us. They deprive us of our power of choice and prevent us from activating our conscious mind, the only tool capable of freeing us from its automatism. Just imagine the powers we would have if we managed to create the emergent phenomena with our conscious mind. We would become architects of our physical and emotional reality. With this, we prove once again the countless spectacular benefits that we will be having by increasing the power of our conscious mind. As with so many other fundamental concepts, exploring traditional definitions reveals a swarm of interpretations that are as complex as they are useless. Let's take the case of the concept of emotions, where we find the definition that they are the intense and brief responses to pleasant or unpleasant stimuli that lead to action and are part of the learning processes and involve three types of factors: physiological, behavioral, and cognitive. This definition is usually illustrated by feeling fear and where people may experience tachycardia. Physiological factor: change your expression and tone of voice. Behavioral factor: and qualify what happens to them as unpleasant. Cognitive factor: again, this definition does not clarify. Darkening opens more questions than answers. It entangles us in technicalities and distances us from the essence of the meaning of this emerging phenomenon, that is, emotions. In this particular case of emotions, its definition is very complicated because each human being reacts very differently to the same stimulus. Usually, this leads us to different actions and likewise to various conclusions of what is happening to us. These characteristics make emotions very subjective. This means that they are very personal. This implies that we cannot generalize this definition without falling into errors and contradictions. What is pleasure for a person? For another, it is torment. This subjectivity forced us to find a definition as simple as possible, functional and universal, that covered as many people as possible. Likewise, that it was also the starting point for building increasingly complex understandings, mainly about all the other emerging phenomena related to our emotions. The definition we developed is as follows. Emotions are spirals that humans manufacture when we combine certain feelings with certain thoughts. these spirals in turn, they generate new feelings and other thoughts almost automatically. Spirals in turn can be defined as mental mechanisms that we manufacture by combining a feeling with a thought and immediately develop the ability to feed themselves and continue generating increasingly powerful feelings and thoughts. After thousands of hours of research and development, this definition proved to be powerfully useful, simple and very easy to understand. In addition, it positioned us to begin to understand and in certain cases to comprehend other emerging phenomena that have accompanied us all our lives and that we had not been able to recognize before. For example, almost all everyday behaviors consist of habits. Some are constructive and others destructive to our goals. Our habits also develop in the form of spirals, which, as we already know, they are very powerful, since with its powers of self-nourishment and the generation of feelings and thoughts, they take over our mental processes and behaviors. The spirals, when formed with our subconscious mind, we don't realize what's going on. These spirals themselves generate a whole series of increasingly powerful feelings and thoughts, to the extent that they also begin to produce our paradigms, our beliefs, and in this way they increase their power over our mental processes and over our reactions to our emotions. Therefore, the most critical thing is to take these processes of manufacturing our emotions with our conscious mind as much as possible. Although it is almost impossible for us to control the creation of our feelings today, but we can intervene decisively in the case of our thoughts, especially if we manufacture them by using our conscious mind to select the most effective in the case of each feeling. Another extremely crucial issue in the creation of our emotions is to select the right thoughts for each feeling. Because our future successes and failures depend a lot on this choice. When we are assailed by a feeling that is usually produced by our unconscious mind, without our participation, we have to select the most appropriate thoughts to create spirals that will help us achieve our goals. Otherwise, they are going to drive us away. With these simple exercises alone, we have enough homework to keep us busy for years. However, with the mental powers that we're developing, we're going to be able to reduce this task to months or even weeks, according to our dedication. In summary, if we train our conscious mind to detect the feelings that emerge and then to generate the most favorable thoughts for our goals, very soon we will be manufacturing all kinds of emotions that will be producing results that seem miraculous. We are also going to greatly facilitate the mental processes in charge of reviewing and updating our convictions, our paradigms, and all the other foundations of our morality and our principles. In particular, we will be updating the most important relationships in our lives. Relationships with ourselves, because they are the source of industrial quantities of self-fascination, of self-admiration and self-love that we are frequently generating, as well as our self-repugnance, self-deception and self-hatred that we also produce. And don't forget to sign up for the Secret Mental Techniques Club. You will meet many people like you, and there will be many more surprises. Don't forget.